So, welcome back to another episode, and in this episode is going to be mainly a follow up, my follow up at least, and my thoughts on the presidential debate last night. Um, I can say that there's a lot to unpack here. For one thing, that the entire debate was an absolute, travesty as far as a viewing experience. I think Chris Wallace is, needless to say, a absolutely despicable debate moderator. He should be absolutely ashamed of himself for calling himself a journalist and a debater or a debate moderator. Also, I think it's pretty obvious on whose side he was on. But nonetheless, contrary to what I'm hearing from a lot of people right now, instead of who are saying that we should not have another debate, yada yada yada, we should have another debate. We need to have a couple more debates because this fight isn't over, folks. The fact of the matter is that the Trump campaign had President Trump himself had numerous opportunities to really hit Biden where it hurt. I think they spent a little bit too much time focusing on healthcare, which is a big issue, but not enough time talking about BLM and violence in the streets, law and order issues that are really impacting Americans in the here and now. Trump had his chance to expose Biden, to get him to trip up, to get him to say something that would be absolutely toxic for his campaign. But guess what? I think, unfortunately, Trump, for all of his qualities, the one problem that he has is that he likes to talk more than actually giving his opponent a chance to embarrass himself. And that is in his detriment. So I support President Trump's continued efforts to expose Biden and the technocracy. And what I've been saying, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, is that the technocracy is really what we're up against here. Technocrats, bureaucrats, people whom are in charge by virtue of the fact that not so much because of their expertise, they're in charge of the government because of their family connections that they have, because of the corporate connections that they have, because of the military connections that they have. This is, and we see this in so-called democracies all over the world. Trump needs to give Biden a chance to really make a fool of himself, and he did not do that at this debate. He was talking too much. Biden, as we know, has had many cases where he absolutely embarrasses himself. There were numerous occasions where he could have just absolutely cratered his campaign, and his campaign is lagging behind in terms of, I think, real, true enthusiasm. So there needs to be more debates. There should be a vice presidential debate. The vice presidential debate, I think, could really be a game changer. But in the meantime, though, Trump also needs to do a couple more things. He really needs to isolate. Really needs to pit Joe up against the far left of the Democratic Party. Joe Biden says that he wants the Green New Deal in name only, in all but name, I should say. He wants it. He won't say it. He won't call it the Green New Deal, but that's exactly what he's calling for. A bloated, uh, socialistic, far left-wing policy which will crater jobs, crater wealth. It is simply all about ideology. So Trump needs to get back, it needs to get his head in the game and defeat Joe on these issues. Because God forbid we have Joe Biden as president. Like and subscribe.